Dude, it's Thursday night, 9 o'clock. You're getting ready for bed. You've got that.
I'm not. Anyway, good.
Well, you've just showered. You're sitting down, to relax. You've got that soda. For me, it would have been a Diet Coke, of course. You, Pepsi. Yep, you're the Pepsi fan there. And then you've got that snack. What do you remember watching the most? What was your obscure, whoa show that you can just think of right off the top of your head?
Off the top of my head, Farscape.
Farscape. Well, that's an interesting one. Would you consider Farscape obscure, though?
I mean, if you really talk to hardcore sci-fi fans, it's in their list, but they don't put it at the top of their list. It's either they say stuff like, let's say Star Wars. They'll say Star Wars, and then you have Firefly,
right?
And then all of a sudden you just hear Farscape, and it's the same thing with Star Trek. Star Trek fans are the same way. Star Trek.
It's almost
second level, and then and then you have Farscape. I think Farscape is highly underrated and underlooked at. I think it really is as a show. They had really interesting concepts. They had a living ship. The ships that they had were living, breathing beings that they would fly in. I don't think there was even a show that I even heard of that had a living ship like that.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it was very interesting, and the puppets of the puppetry was amazing. It was done by the Jim Henson Company.
So it was done by the actual puppet shop.
Yep, it was done by the puppet shop. There were a lot of
cool.
The makeup was well done. And it was an Australian production that Sci-Fi had bought it, and they brought it here to the United States. And it was just an interesting concept. I really liked Farscape. I think it was only on for three or four seasons, and then they ended it with the movie, and the movie just tied everything up. It was well done. But yeah, Farscape to me was that show that I actually turned on Friday nights, and I could sit back and watch the adventures of John Crichton and his renegade crew of aliens.
His band of merry thugs.
Yeah, his band of I really liked the character Dargo. Dargo was my favorite character on that show.
All right. Well,
Dargo, yeah.
So tonight we're going to go ahead and we're going into that obscure line of shows. I think it's going to be a good thing, bring up some of those ones that not everyone remembers, but they may have seen an episode and they were like,
or maybe they've seen it in a meme, or they've seen it in some sort of clip, something. They've seen it somewhere.
They've seen it somewhere.
Yeah, exactly. They've seen it somewhere. Yeah, exactly.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and introduce the show here, and we'll get rolling on our obscure episodes. Episode tonight is UHF After Dark, and we are cutscenes and clotheslines. That's Fernie.
The FVD. Either the best wrestling name or the worst venereal disease you'll ever have. I don't know which one it is.
I'm Mike, and let's go ahead and go into the show tonight. So, obscure TV shows.
Mm-hmm.
What would you think would be the idea of obscure? Would it be the show that not a whole lot of people remember? Or is it the show that you happen to catch a couple of episodes every once in a while? You'd see an episode and be like, oh, and you'd watch it, but then you'd want more of it, and it was just one of those things that you could never find it again.
Yeah, for example, that had a strong, that had a, it's like one of those shows that you saw something from it, and it reminded you of something you saw in an episode, and yeah, exactly like you said, you wanted more of it, but for some reason it was either canceled or gone, or it went to another network, whatever the reason is. Yeah, it's stuff like that, or even flashes here and there if you remember something, or even a meme that you saw something. Yeah, something like that. Absolutely.
All right. Well, mine, do you know what my probably number one show of that time frame would have been? Where nobody knew about it, but it was very what's the word? very cult-like almost. Like there was a following, but not a whole lot of people remember it.
So it's not the level of Firefly cult.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Okay. Gotcha. Okay. That's why I always compare like the fandom of people where like
Right.
where you have your Star Treks where it's like it was on for like 2 or 3 seasons and it has this huge following. Same thing with Firefly. It was on for 1 season and it gained this gigantic cult following. But no, go ahead.
So mine, The Crow, Stairway to Heaven.
Starring Mark Dacascos, famous martial artist. He did a couple of B movies, but I think my audiences might know him strongly from Brotherhood of the Wolf. He was the Indian character in Brotherhood of the Wolf.
That's right.
Yep, that's him.
Oh, and that was one of my favorite characters of that movie.
That guy, yeah. That was one of my favorite characters too in that movie. Yep.
Wow.
Absolutely.
All right. So yeah. So no wonder I liked the show so much then. I mean, or liked the movie so much then. I mean, he was amazing in that show. And the way they designed that show, I mean, it was the Crow movie. It was exactly what we saw, Brandon Lee, but they did it in episodes and broke it up, which I think they did a much better idea because it sort of followed the lines of the James O'Barr novel,
right?
The graphic novel.
And if you don't know, it's true that it was based on a comic book series or a comic book. What's it called?
It was a graphic novel.
A graphic novel, sorry.
Yeah.
By James O'Barr, yeah.
But I mean, and the way they portrayed the characters, I think they did a really good job with. You sort of get to enjoy each one of those characters a little bit separately. I mean, of course, Tintin dies a little quickly, but that's besides the point. But
yeah, and he was also, wasn't he the original leader of it in the comic books, or was that somebody else?
No, so the main leader was always, I want to say Big Boy was his name, but I can't think of the actual.
Well, that was like the head guy, but like the leader of that gang.
The actual leader. So
yeah.
Tintin was the leader of the gang, yeah. And then the way the movie portrayed it, it was a little bit different. Like they portrayed it a little bit differently. They sort of really didn't have a leader. They all sort of just were a band of criminals who worked for the main guy.
Right.
But I mean, Tintin and the other guy who is always like, I feel like a little worm on a big fucking hook. That guy, he was sort of the head man of that, that group, I guess you could say.
Right.
But it never really portrayed him as the leader.
Gotcha. So then, what about that show also appealed to you?
I sort of liked the way they sort of go in a little bit more into depth with Eric Draven. I mean, he wakes up in heaven, if you think about it. He wakes up at the very first opening scene. He's waking up and he sees Shelly. And she's right there. And then all of a sudden, she's like, no, you have to, do this. And she just boom, you see her sort of back up all the way through and she's gone. And then he's like, what do I do? Jumps off and goes through the portal.
If I remember correctly, there was a bridge, right? They're like,
they're on a bridge
that they meet. Yeah. And of course, it's symbolic of course, in heaven and earth.
Right.
Of course. Yeah. The bridge.
Yeah.
The bridge between.
So,
it's
and
a little bridge.
I really think that it just goes a little deeper into the storyline, which is really, I think, what they did a really good job with. And that's what intrigued me, I think, the most was just the storyline of it. It's a storyline that you didn't get with the movie because the movie you only have 2 hours, 2.5 hours. Where the show, you've got 1 hour every week for so many weeks.
Yeah, and that was on syndication, right? Was it run on syndication?
It was, yes. It was actually on Sci-Fi.
It was on Sci-Fi for a while?
Yeah, it was on the Sci-Fi channel here in the U.S. It was from 98 to 99.
Also, it wasn't on syndication, so I had an actual home. It had a place to broadcast on. That's interesting. I didn't know that. I thought it was on syndication because I saw a lot on Fox. Because Fox would do this interesting thing. Their Saturday mornings, they would have their Saturday morning cartoons, and then after their Saturday morning cartoons, they would show their syndicated shows. That's where I saw Hercules, Xena.
Right.
I saw another. I saw a little bit of The Crow. I didn't watch too much of it though. because I did other things, and this is, of course, before DVR, so I didn't really catch it
Yeah.
at that time. But yeah, I didn't know it was on Sci-Fi. That's interesting.
Yeah. So what about you? What is your one besides of course Farscape?
So there was a show back in the early 80s, mid 80s, around that time, and it was a show called Small Wonder. And Small Wonder was this show that consisted of this family that wanted to build that wanted, I guess, to expand their family, and they built this robot girl, this 10-year-old robot, and she was dressed like what's the character I'm trying to think of? Alice in Wonderland.
Okay.
But
she was dressed like Alice.
Yeah, she was just like Alice, but in red. It was all red. And it was just the adventures of this family with this robot, and it would haywire here and there. It would have these mishaps. It would have these misunderstandings. Typical robot stuff, I think they even had a scenario where it was almost like a world-ending scenario with this robot. They had some wild things with this girl robot. But yeah, it ran for 4 seasons. And yeah, it was just this random show from the 80s that, she spoke like this, and I thought she acted really well. She acted really good in it. I forgot the actress's name at this point, but yeah, Small Wonder, just this.
Did it have any
TV
big name
show.
stars in it?
That's what I was trying to look up to, and I didn't have enough time because I fell down a rabbit hole looking for other shows. So
No.
I did that thing where that show was just, I just vividly remember that show just being a wacky sitcom with a robot girl.
Interesting.
What else, man?
So, what do you remember as far as maybe going to what channels do you remember growing up? I mean, of course you had the syndicate channels, but what do you remember? Think back about it, and what do you remember about that?
The channels? I mean, it was weird because Fox had a lot of syndicated shows. They had a lot of syndicated shows. So Fox was always this weird, the local Fox here always had syndicated channel or syndicated shows that when you were watching their regular broadcast shows, like I said before, they had Fox Kids, and then they would transition into these syndicated shows. Again, that's where I saw Xena. That's where I saw Hercules. That's where I saw that one Pamela Anderson show, VIP.
I was gonna say Baywatch.
No, not Baywatch. Even though Baywatch did play on Fox, it did. But VIP, there was this show called VIP that she did that was in syndication also, and yeah, it was probably about good 4 or 5, maybe even 6 straight hours of syndication on Fox. So I remember watching Fox a lot because of those shows.
Interesting. Okay. So
Yeah.
I remember UPN. Do you remember UPN?
Yeah, the pre CW, yeah, UPN and WB.
That one was an
The
interesting
WB.
one. Because in fact, you know what? I think I saw Farscape on UPN.
Was it? No, Farscape was on Sci-Fi.
But see, once again, Farscape was actually one of those where it might have been on another show, because I remember watching Farscape before Sci-Fi was out, like one of the mainstream channels.
Okay, all right. Well, I don't. I mean, I could honestly say I don't remember.
Or maybe I'm thinking about a different show. Maybe I'm thinking about the other one. What was it? Lex or Lux?
Lex. Okay, now Lex.
That
was
one
on
might have been the
Showtime.
one on.
That was
Okay,
on
nope,
Showtime.
then that wasn't it either. So it
Yeah.
might have been Farscape then.
Yeah, because Lex was another obscure show. That was another interesting show. It was so strange. That was a strange show too, because it was this show about this, again, a band of people that were on this ship, and one of them was a prisoner. One of them was this undead soldier, and this sex pot. Basically, that's what she was. And it was
Nice.
this, no, it was weird because it started on Showtime, and they had this talking head. I remember they had the talking head that fell in love with the girl that was on the show.
Okay.
And Lex was, how could I even describe Lex? It was a show that it was a war between the undead guy. He had he was a warrior from a previous civilization that was wiped out by another alien civilization. But they
Okay.
kept him around as their soldier. So like he was a mercenary for this alien group.
Right.
And that was such a weird show because like they would go back and forth fighting this war against this group and then having their own side quests, right?
Uh-huh.
And it started on Showtime because they did have nudity on it. I do remember that.
Okay.
So then
Yeah, no, then it wouldn't have been that one. Then I'm thinking about then.
And then the first season was on Showtime, and then they transitioned to Sci-Fi.
Okay.
And that show was so weird, and it was on for like 3 or 4
And
seasons.
it definitely fits the topic for today as far as the obscure shows.
Yeah, and it was so strange because they would have these adventures, but the adventures would go like basically
haywire.
Haywire, nowhere.
And
it was
absolutely, it wouldn't lead to anything.
Yeah, it was so weird, and it was on for 3 or 4 seasons, so it was on for a while. It was just Lex was one of those other shows that was just, it was so bizarre. It was a bizarre sci-fi show where they had a lot of interesting concepts that they brought in. A lot of sensuality was in that show, and a lot of adult themes. It was just that. It was just a show that was, but it was so weird. It was unusual. I'm not too sure if even it'd be shown today. I'm not too sure, but I don't know.
What other type of shows were there? I mean, or not shows, but on the broadcasting, like CBS. What do you remember from CBS? I don't remember really a whole lot of. I think maybe I do. Diagnosis Murder with Dick Van Dyke.
Yeah,
he was a doctor.
Yeah, and that was a show that was on for a long time too. I think it was like 10 seasons.
It was on for quite a while. But would you consider that obscure?
I mean, CBS at that time. I mean, CBS with Diagnosis Murder. Like, okay, so here's a little bit of background. So NBC, CBS, they had like these more sitcom-y traditional shows. And then CBS was kind of considered like the old person's like network, where they had shows like The Golden Girls.
Right.
And they had.
I think we mentioned that. We were talking about that a little bit last week. We had I think we talked about Walker Texas Ranger being on there. I think.
Yeah. And Diagnosis Murder was one of those shows, and of course, you had this older Dick Van Dyke being this forensics, right? Forensics, or was he?
He was a doctor. No, he was actually a doctor, and he was helping. His son was a cop. Then he helps his son with cases and stuff like that. So okay.
But CBS was like this older generational. That's what they considered it at that time. Was older generational.
So
series.
That would be like the baby boomer.
Yeah, exactly. There you go.
Okay.
It was like
that was more towards the baby boomer era, because I mean that's definitely those are all shows my grandma watched. I remember sitting down and watching those with her.
Yeah, and that was their demographic. So would I call it obscure? I mean, I think.
Okay, so think about someone our age. How likely is it that someone our age would have actually sat down and watched those type of shows?
No, I don't think they would have sit down and watched Diagnosis Murder. No.
So
they wanted action. They wanted.
And you know what?
Yeah.
I was one of those kids who actually sat down and watched that show. It was hilarious. I loved it. Yeah, dude. But you know what? I always enjoy those type of procedural investigation type shows like that. And Dick Van Dyke was one of my favorite actors and comedians. He was hilarious.
So there was actually a show on CBS that did have action. It had a little bit of everything. It had action, romance, mystery. And it was this show that starred Linda Hamilton and Ron Perlman. I'm not kidding. It was Linda Hamilton and Ron Perlman.
I know where you're going with this one.
Beauty and the Beast.
Yes. You know, dude. Jessica. Do you remember my friend from New York, Jessica? That was her favorite show, and that was one of the first shows that we talked about when we started talking.
So this was a show that. Again, I said starred Linda Hamilton and Ron Perlman, and it is a show that's a modern take on Beauty and the Beast. And what it was based in New York. And the first episode, I think she gets attacked or she almost gets sexually assaulted, and that's when Ron Perlman comes in, and he's in like this. And I kid you not, it's this very handsome looking lion-esque
Type outfit.
like this lioness type makeup.
Yeah.
And yeah, like it was like
Like the almost
like
it was like the latex type makeup, right?
yeah, and he looked like a lion. Like he resembled a lot like a lion. That's what I could say. He looked like a lion. He had the long mangy hair, the lion face, and he was actually a good looking dude. And I was like that makeup on Ron Perlman. I was like, I think at one time they even said, if I'm not mistaken, and you can look this up, I think People magazine may have mentioned the Beast, not Ron Perlman, the Beast, as one of the most beautiful people on TV.
Nice. Yeah, no, that one was definitely one of those that it doesn't spark a whole lot of memories on my side, because I remember I might have seen an episode or two, but it wasn't something that I like physically had to sit down and watch. But my Erin, Jessica Aaron, you know her.
Yeah.
She loved that show, and that was always one of her favorites.
And yeah, and it was about Linda Hamilton, of course. She was going through these moments in her life, and the Beast would show up, and they would have these romantic moments and these heroic moments through him too. And he was like he lived in an underground society under New York.
Yeah.
So it was like these underground people, and I remember
it's like the Morlocks of X-Men.
Exactly. They were like Morlocks. Exactly. And I remember one of the cast members, because later on he would show up on another show, but it was Uncle Phil from Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. He was one of the recurring characters.
Oh, very cool.
And, yeah, I remember there was one episode where it was the episode where they actually killed him off. Where the Beast was fighting this unusual, I don't know, it was like not a shapeshifter, kind of shapeshifter, kind of bad guy. He would seep through the floor, come back up, and attack him. Yeah, it was unusual. But I remember that's the episode that they killed him, and I was like, I really like that character. And I'm like, we'll hopefully see him later on. And then like 4 years later, he was Uncle Phil. Yeah, aka also the voice of the Shredder.
See, something where someone transitioned into something else.
Yeah.
Do you remember the show on Nickelodeon, Eureka's Castle?
Eureka's Castle.
I know it is a very kid-friendly show, but also remember I had a younger sister. She loved that show.
Shout out to Dawn.
So did you know that one of the character designers, and he did a lot of the storyline design as well, that was R.L. Stine. 8 months after they stopped doing the show, Goosebumps.
That's wild. Wow.
So it does bring up that creative idea of, I wonder, these guys do these type of shows and then they go into something else and they do an even better character.
That's crazy. Wow. I didn't know that was R.L. Stine was working on Eureka's Castle.
Yeah, he was one of the head character designers.
Wow, that's crazy. So he went from character designing to making these
story creation with those characters.
That's a wild transition. Wow.
It is. It is definitely a crazy transition when you think about it.
That's funny, man. So then, speaking of puppetry and Eureka's Castle, so there was a show on NBC. It went from HBO to NBC, and it was this show that I vividly remember because it had some creepy ass puppets on there too.
Okay.
And it was called Jim Henson's The Storyteller.
Yes, I remember that one.
So this show was about it was a show that was based on this one guy, this character, and this really cute puppetized dog that he had that had like a lot of reactions. It was like this, and it told a lot of European folk tales. And I remember the show being so creepy because there was a couple of episodes that I remember where it was this guy that makes the deal with the devil.
Okay.
And these little demons would come out, and they were the really well done puppets too, because they were so creepy looking. They were just like you could see the movements, the muscles, and like you could see everything that they could do, but they were so creepy because they were just so small and just so precise and looking. It was just a very creepy show. And the other one was where a guy made a deal with Death, and I remember Death being extremely creepy because blank expression, these big eyes. It was just a very couple of episodes were very creepy
Yeah.
show.
Yeah, no, but see, and that's one of those like fantasy, those dark fantasy type things and I think that's what intrigued us back then.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Yeah.
what brought it. That's really, I mean, that would have definitely been one of my shows that I remember watching. I remember a few of the episodes. It's sort of like that fantasy stuff is what we grew up on.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, it's funny because like you really think about it, because like the '80s or even into the '90s, you could think of like oh, this nerd stuff, blah blah blah, and like the jocks making fun of the nerds, prototypical, Revenge of the Nerd stuff, right?
Right, yeah.
So then, but you don't really realize how much fantasy was on TV at that time.
It was a lot. It was everything.
It was a ton. It was a ton.
I mean, you've got shows like, say, an example, if we want to go down the obscure route there, you've got shows like The 10th Kingdom.
The 10th Kingdom. Okay. Tell me about I've never heard of the 10th Kingdom. Go ahead, man.
So it is a world, and it's all fairy tales. Ogres, trolls, the evil queen wants to take over the land.
Okay.
And one of the characters goes through a portal, and they end up in New York.
Mm-hmm.
And they run into this girl who is, ends up falling in love with this character, and she ends up getting taken back to that 10th Kingdom and becomes, in a sense, a princess.
Okay. All right. Interesting.
So, but if you think about the fantasy design, it wasn't well done. It was a mini series.
Okay.
And I let me think. I don't remember exactly which channel it was on, but it was one of those that really just sort of drew you into it. And the worst part about it was, back then, DVR was probably around, but I couldn't afford it. So
this is like a DVR era. Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah, this was 2000s. So it came out in the
Okay.
2000s. It was actually on NBC in the US.
The 10th Kingdom. Honestly, I don't remember ever hearing about the 10th Kingdom, but
Yeah,
I
so
don't know, it sounds
basically,
interesting. It's interesting.
here's the brief synopsis of it. A father and daughter from New York are pulled through a magic mirror into the nine kingdoms,
Okay.
where a fairy tale land have evolved into chaotic fantasy world of trolls, wolves, curses, monarchies, and stolen identities.
Interesting. So, stolen identities. Okay.
Yeah, so the
something
stolen
known today.
identity
Alright.
is basically the prince gets turned into a dog, and
Okay.
the queen, she's the one who does all this. She turns the dog into the prince.
Right.
The dog actually acts like a dog, but it's in a human body. Think about that.
That's
Yeah. And this was on NBC, so it was regular syndicate channels.
okay. All right. So then, speaking of fantasy, there was a show that was produced by Steven Spielberg. It was a show that was on NBC, and it was called Amazing Stories.
Yes.
Amazing Stories was
I remember a few episodes of that as well.
It was a show about these. It was an anthology series, and it had a lot of. It was a star-studded cast. So it didn't have one particular storyline. It didn't have a frame story.
Right.
It was
it's
just
sort of a different story each week, wasn't it?
Yeah, exactly. It was a different story, and it had like these amazing tales of like they want them to seem like it was real. So this show ran from 85 to 87, and
So
you
two
had
seasons?
guys. So then you had guys that were directors and writers that did this show. You're talking Martin Scorsese, Clint
Really?
Eastwood, Robert Zemeckis, and Joe Dante. You know who Joe Dante
Wow.
is? You know who Joe Dante is, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so then they did these shows, and the one that I remember the most was an episode, and it was based on a World War II bomber that
Okay.
featured Kevin Costner. It was called The Mission. And in this storyline, what it is, it's like there's this World War II bomber, and it's about not Kevin Costner himself, but it's about the belly gunner. You know, like these big
Okay.
B-52 bombers.
Yeah, you're talking about the bubble gunner there at the front, right?
No, the underbelly.
The actual underbelly. Okay.
Yeah, the underbelly. So like you had your tail gunner, you had your front gunner, the sides, the top, and then you had your under gunner or your underbelly.
They're sort of
So-
in that. Were they in that sort of thing that like sort of like swiveled? A
Yeah,
little
exactly. It was a
Bit?
bubble.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So these flying fortresses, right, that they were flying, and it was the episode where he was a sketch artist, and that's what he would do. Like before the missions, he would sketch and do his little doodles, right? So
Mhm.
then, and this mission, they get hit by a Japanese airplane, and it pins the underbelly gunner in, so they can't get him out.
Whoa,
There's no way they
okay.
can get him out. So then they're struggling to see like, hey, what are we gonna do? Because one of the tires won't go down. Like it just won't go. It's like it's not
It's
operational.
jammed.
If we land, this dude's dead anyway, and we can't get him out. So that was the major
Man.
dilemma. That was the dilemma. So like they're talking to him back and forth. It's like, hey, we're doing our best to try to get this debris out of the way, but
Yeah.
it's no good. So then he starts panicking, and he's having all these memories. So then the only thing I could do is he's sketching, and you just see him like feverishly sketching the plane, and then all of a sudden the tire becomes a cartoon, and it goes down in place of the real tire. So it's this cartoon tire, and he's
An
looking at it.
animated tire.
Yeah, it's an animated
Okay.
tire, and that's the tire that he's sketching.
Right.
So then it's like a last minute miracle thing, and they end up landing. They get him out, and then the tire fades away, and then the plane just crushes the bubble with him, of course, out.
With him out,
of the-
him out and
it's-
safe.
yeah. So that was one of the episodes I vividly remember.
Wow, interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned Joe Dante. I mean, that guy was, that he was an amazing director.
Mhm.
Think about it. The Gremlins,
Mm-hmm.
Small Soldiers.
Exactly. Yep.
Two of my favorite movies growing up. I mean, both of them were classic movies that didn't get a whole lot of draw, but were just great.
Right.
Just
else,
a
man?
little,
What's the
just a
number?
little, sidebar on that one there.
What else, man? What else do you remember, man?
But so I don't know if you would remember it. Do you remember a show? I believe it was on Wham or like one of those channels when we were younger, and
Okay.
it was called The Tribe.
The Tribe. No.
Okay, so think about this. Think about Lord of the Flies.
Okay.
Okay, you had a group of kids trapped on an island, right? Basically trying to figure out how to survive. So this show is a post-apocalyptic show where the adults have disappeared. They're gone.
Okay.
The kids wake up and all the adults are gone. And it's only the kids now left to survive.
Okay.
So think about that. How would you feel if you were 10 years old? No more adults helping you how to figure out how to live and survive.
Paradise.
And so basically, these kids sort of break up into their own little tribes and groups, and it's,
Okay.
It becomes that
Like Lord of the Flies.
sort of, that tribe. It becomes really that tribal culture, and it's
Gotcha.
watching these storylines, and you see these storylines like one girl gets pregnant.
Okay.
Yeah. One of the girls, she ends up getting pregnant with, the boy who they were probably, I would say, 16, 17. So, she ends up getting pregnant. So how do you deal with having a baby at 16 years old? And there's no nurses, there's no doctors. Like, it really but it never shows anything. But, you sort of get this because at the end of this episode, you see her going into labor. And then at the beginning of the next episode, she's had the baby and it's a couple days later and she's recovered. So it was very, it was just one of those where, you would think about it, because that would, for us back then, thinking about that kind of stuff, that was paradise. We were like, oh, no more adults, no more rules. But they all had to figure out how to live and survive.
Right.
And
right.
what happens? You create a world. You have your different groups that say, hey, we'll work with you. We'll give you this if you give us some of this. But you also have those other groups who want to take advantage of everything and say, well, we just want everything and we're going to attack you whether you like it or not. So, but that was definitely one of them.
Gotcha. Okay. So another show that I remember that was on Fox, and okay, I'm going to say this about Fox. I'm going to go off a little bit on Fox for a second, if you don't mind. Fox has this reputation of making these shows, and then for whatever reason, like they're either the budget or I don't know what it is, but they always cancel these damn shows, and I hate it. They did it with Dark Angel. They did it with Firefly. They did it with the next show I'm going to talk about, but for a good reason. As this show that was based loosely, just very loosely on. Do you know Vampire the Masquerade?
Yeah, the tabletop, not tabletop, well, tabletop RPG. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I used to play that. God, high school, pretty much freshman year all the way on through. I played it after I graduated.
So there was a show that was loosely based on it called Kindred the Embraced.
Yes. Okay,
so then what this show was, it was kind of like this, The Sopranos with vampires.
Yeah.
So that's what the show was. And it was very short-lived because unfortunately the lead actor who was in that show died during filming.
That's crazy. Really?
Yeah, he died in a motorcycle accident.
Man.
Yeah, unfortunately, and it's a shame. But yeah, it was this show that it was these 5 families, these 5 vampire families that were run like the mob. So like they had their territories, they had their places. So like it was about that world where how their interactions with each other and interactions with other outside influences like humans. And it was a lead character that fell in love with this human. And it was about their romance and how that romance really starts off this vampire mob war with each other because they're like, hey, you can't talk to this person because she's an outsider, I think she was a reporter. I think it was a reporter, and like one of the other actors was C. Thomas Howell. He was a detective that was on the case too. Like he was investigating. That's what he is. He's investigating these families because he's hearing this stuff around these families. Like he's hearing around this crime thing, and he's thinking that they're a mob family, but they're actually vampires.
They're a vampire family. Wow.
They're a vampire family. So
they are a mob family, just a different type of mob.
Exactly, and
they're an undead mob.
And it was an interesting show. I thought it was a really good show, but unfortunately, because the lead actor passed away, your lead actor dies, and it's just like, what can you do?
Monica, because there was a show she actually introduced me to on TV that was the same type of thing, a vampire type one like that, but I couldn't remember the name of it, and so I was trying to see if she remembered, and she couldn't remember either.
Another vampire show?
Yeah, it was another one sort of like that.
Well, I mean, if we're sticking with vampires, let me bring up another one. This is so random. Okay, so do you remember Spike TV?
Yeah.
Okay, so Spike TV had a Blade TV series.
Never saw it.
I don't think anybody did.
Yeah, I remember Spike TV. I mean, they had some great shows.
So it's funny because I remember walking through Walmart, and I remember seeing like they had the Blade DVD set, and it said Blade, Blade 2, Blade 3, and then Blade the series. And I was like, oh my god, that's right, Blade the series. I completely forgot Blade the series. And I remember it was the rapper Sticky Fingers who played Blade. And it was this, I don't know, it was really weird because there wasn't so much action in it, but it was so much like, almost like a police procedural.
Interesting.
With Blade.
With Blade, yeah. So they're like Like the supernatural detectives type thing?
Yeah, just kind of like that though. So like he's looking.
Okay.
I think it was him looking into, if I'm not mistaken, it was called Blade House of Aramis. I think it was the name of the series. And again, it had.
You know what? It's not one that I remember. Like I might have seen an episode or two, but definitely not one I remember.
Yeah, I remember this because like I remember because Sticky Fingers was a rapper. I forgot which group it was. I think he was in a group, if I'm not mistaken. And it just caught me off.
Search on that one.
Yeah, it caught me off guard, where I was just like, whoa. I was like, why would they even do like? I see the interest in Blade because that was during the whole Blade when Blade was a big thing going on.
Right.
So yeah, it was. The series, it was so random. Like I didn't expect that.
Well, you know what? I mean, I'm looking at. I pulled it up here on Google, and I'm looking at him. I could see Blade in that look, like the way he looks. I mean, that is definitely. It's not Wesley Snipes, of course, but for yeah, no, I could definitely see it.
Sorry, it wasn't Sticky Fingers. It was Sticky. Kirk Sticky Jones. That was the guy that played
Sticky Fingers. Right?
No, just Sticky. Not Sticky Fingers, just Sticky.
Just Sticky. Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, he played. No, it was Sticky. No, he was. No, that time Sticky Fingers. Yeah, Sticky Fingers. I'm right. Yeah, my bad.
Yeah, Kirk Jones.
Yeah.
Yep. That's him. Yep.
So yeah, it's funny thinking about it because like I remember just looking at him like, what? Like okay, they did a Blade series. I understand the Blade series. I understand. But
so did you like the Blade series?
Actually,
or did you not really get into it?
I tried to get into it, but for some reason I just found myself just on like, just not getting too much into it, and it's a shame because I actually wanted to give it a chance. Maybe I'll go back to it one of these days. But yeah, it was just I think for myself what it was is that I just couldn't get it over that it wasn't Wesley Snipes.
Right.
I think that's what it was because I was so used to.
You know what? Sometimes it's that way.
Yeah.
Same friend we've talked about already this evening. Erin. She is that way with some of the movies and stuff. After like with the animated and the live action, she's like, no, it's not the same character, and she hates some of the movies because of it. And I'm like, I understand your point, and I understand why you feel this way. Like Aladdin, key example. Robin Williams, Will Smith, the genie. They are both wonderful genies. But she doesn't care for it. But no, I can definitely understand the point there of, it's not that character and it just doesn't pull you the same way.
Yeah. Because with Wesley Snipes, he has like a natural charisma to him.
Right.
Like even though he's playing Blade straight, you have those moments, like in the movie where, that opening sequence where in the nightclub and, it's with when he first shoots up Quinn. With the and he like he hits him and he just goes that little fist pump like he's like straight on. That's what I'm talking about, that little charisma that I think that Sticky Fingers just didn't have. Like he didn't have that natural charisma, that natural way of being like a little smart assy, like that little charisma of that character. So yeah, it was very interesting because because I think it had potential. I think what it was just people just couldn't get past the fact that it wasn't Wesley Snipes.
All right. Well, let's take a second here and think about, give yourself about 2 or 3 seconds and let's think about what our Mount Rushmore of obscure TV shows would be.
Okay. All right. So give me yours. What is your Mount Rushmore of TV shows? Okay, so then some of them haven't been discussed yet, but I think we'll get into it. Okay, so then my first one would be Beauty and the Beast. I remember Beauty and the Beast very well.
One of the ones we discussed, right?
There was The Storyteller.
That one's awesome.
then there's Sliders.
Sliders.
Sliders was a show that
That's
started on Fox.
interesting.
It was on Fox. It was about interdimensional travel, and it starred Jerry O'Connell.
Yeah, no, I loved that show. That's one of my favorite shows.
And it was like, this band of people. There was John Rhys Davies. If you don't know John Rhys Davies, he was in the Lord of the Rings movies. He played Gimli.
He was Professor Maximilian.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. That he was in that show. There was a love interest. I forgot the actress's name. I do apologize.
The girl.
Yeah.
Wade. That was yeah, exactly correct. Yes, Wade.
She was in love with O'Connell's character. Yes, and he was just this inept idiot. Genius. That's what he played. He played the inept genius.
Yeah,
that he creates these portals.
It's sort of like Sheldon Cooper.
Yeah, there you go. And they would just slide through these different dimensions.
There was one more character. They the crying man or something. He was a singer.
He was like he was a piano player. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he was a piano player.
I remember him. No, he was a singer because I remember him. It was the crying man because he would cry as he was singing.
Yeah. The character name was Rembrandt. That's what it was.
Rembrandt Brown.
Rembrandt Brown, exactly. Yes. And I forgot how he was introduced into the.
He was driving his car, and when the portal opened up, it sucked his car in with.
That's what it
with
was.
him in it.
Yes,
he was going to a baseball game to throw or to sing the national anthem.
That's right.
And that was the first episode because then they end up in Russia. Russia has taken over the U.S. It was the Cold War never happened.
Yeah, and it was interesting because they went to these different dimensions of Earth, and it was like this infinite. And that was the first thing they said. It's like, they said,
loop.
What if we have this infinite loop of different worlds? But it's our world, but it's a different timeline or a different world. And it was so interesting because they had dinosaurs, they had medieval,
right. They had some great episodes.
Chess at some point was like the major sport. It was.
I remember there was the one with the cowboys. They were it was during the first season where they were they had the guns and that was how they solved arguments.
Yeah. So I remember that show. Yeah.
One of my favorite ones of that one was actually the one. I don't remember what season it was, but it was the one where they're in it's almost like a battle zone type thing, and there's different groups, and they have to get to the flag at the end of the thing. And
right.
I don't think it was with Wade. I think it was with the second girl who was there. I think something happens and Wade stays and she goes or something.
Okay.
But
all right.
But yeah, I remember that one. That was one of my favorite episodes.
Yeah, Sliders. That's on there.
Okay, that's interesting. Now, here's a question about that. Well, what's your next one, and then I'll ask about that.
So I was in a hard debate because I know that off camera we were talking about this.
Right.
But then more things started coming to my head, and this is how my brain works. It just my brain doesn't automatically think of it. It just it just comes and goes. So at first I said Tales from the Dark Side.
Okay, yeah, I remember you mentioning that when we were brainstorming.
But then I thought about it even more, and I thought about it even harder. And I have to put in there Babylon 5.
Babylon 5.
Babylon 5. It's again right up there where people stay, okay, I like Star Wars, I like Marvel. Babylon 5.
You know what? Okay.
It's Babylon 5 is a show that is it's very similar to, it was like a political thriller.
Right.
That's how
it was a space type one.
Right. And it was kind of like Deep Space Nine.
Yeah, I remember.
Where you had different races of aliens living together in this station that was meant to be for peace.
Right.
Humans and these different alien species. that were in this diplomatic spaceship called the Babylon 5. And the way it was set up was that Babylon 1 through 4 were complete failures for whatever
Right.
reason. Like they had been blown up, some sort of sabotage happened, and Babylon 5 was the 5th iteration of this galactic starship,
Like
diplomatic.
galactic space station, really.
Yeah,
I
this,
mean,
yeah, the galactic space station. And I remember that being like the setup where like these other space stations had blown up. Why is this one so different? Why is this one the one that they want to save?
right.
And it was set up, of course, then with the Shadow Wars was the next iteration. Well, not the next iteration, but was the major story point of Babylon 5, where these
Okay, the storyline.
right where it was this race of destructive aliens called the Shadow, and that's what they did. They just destroyed worlds for what reason? We don't know.
Because they wanted to. Yeah.
Yeah,
Because it's the same reason any other alien, being destroys a world, because
Right.
they want to. Yeah,
Yeah, but
interesting.
then it was this show that they showed like it was like a political intrigue plus or political thriller mixed in there with sci-fi. It was a very
So
interesting mixture.
Here's my question on those two, both of them, Slider and Babylon 5. Would those be considered obscure? Because they did have a following.
Okay, they did have a following, but have you ever seen cosplay of either of them at all?
Actually, yeah, I have.
Have you?
I
you?
have.
I have never seen a cosplay
Well,
that pops out to
dude,
me that of Babylon 5
you also
or
forget, I used to go to Comic-Con out in Orlando.
Well, that's true.
There's
That's
some
true.
weird people out there, so I guess you're right. I understand what you mean by that, but yeah, no, I would agree. I think they're definitely obscure enough to fit into the mold.
Yeah, because I don't think it gets talked about enough. I mean, I think when you bring up like inner space politics or like a show that really brought groundbreaking TV, it was Star Trek. Star Trek
Yeah,
did
it
a
was
lot of
always
groundbreaking
Star
things.
Trek.
It was always Star Trek because they had that political intrigue. They also had, that interracial stuff. They had a lot of groundbreaking TV on Star Trek, and that's what people always go to is always Star Trek.
Right.
But
So-
Babylon 5,
Okay, so Star Trek has a fan following.
right?
Would you consider it obscure? I mean,
No.
no,
They even have a name. I mean, they're called Trekkies. They're called Trekkies.
but it's okay. So Star Trek would be more cultish.
Yeah, but it's one of the bigger ones.
One of the
it
big
really
cult
is. It's one of the
followings,
bigger. Yeah, exactly. I mean, they even had a whole movie about it called
Yeah,
Trekkies.
okay.
So
No,
yeah, I wouldn't call Trekkies obscure at all. I think they're one of the biggest fan bases. It's like Star Wars and Star Trek are even when it comes to their fandom.
Right.
So but that's one of the bigger ones. Like you don't hear in the conversation people saying, "Oh, like what's your favorite sci-fi series?" You never hear Babylon 5.
No.
Never hear Babylon 5 or
okay.
even Farscape. You never hear that. It's liked among fans.
Among science fiction aficionados.
Yeah, but it's not something that they would gravitate.
Right.
So yeah, it was something that when you hear about, people don't gravitate firstly to Babylon 5 or Farscape or Sliders. You hear it in conversation when they're talking about other sci-fi shows, but it's not their main go-to sci-fi show.
Okay. No, definitely. You know what? I think that's an awesome list. That's a great Mount Rushmore. So I've been thinking about mine, and we talked about it earlier, and like definitely the Tribe is one of my top 4.
Mm-hmm.
My other one we haven't really talked about it much, but was the Tomorrow People on Nickelodeon.
Okay, the Tomorrow People. I do remember some episodes not episodes, but I do remember seeing the Tomorrow People with you. Yeah, I remember watching it with you. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So basically these kids they get powers. They have like the power to teleport. They have the power to talk telepathically. And it was an interesting show because it brought in that they were these, in a sense, super beings, and the government was trying to capture them. And it was a really good one. And the characters, I mean, but once again, we're talking obscure. We're not talking big base fanship.
I know, but it's just it sounds very similar to X-Men. I know.
But this was because of aliens.
Right.
This wasn't because of just the natural, mutant type thing.
Right.
So, but yeah, so it was. I mean, the characters were great. And they didn't do a whole lot afterwards. It was really just it was Nickelodeon, so a lot of the shows like that, sort of, the characters just disappeared after that, or at least here in the United States because they filmed in other places.
Right. Right.
But yeah, my third one, we were talking about that, and my third one would definitely be The Crow.
Okay.
The Crow, Stairway to Heaven, and that's really just because I really did love the graphic novel, and that is one of those, watching that was that whole, I can't read the graphic novel because I don't own it yet, but I can watch it. And it really did, I think it did the story really well. Now my last one, like you, I was thinking about it, and I went down a rabbit hole, and I sort of have a question on it.
Okay.
It had 11 seasons, so it was popular enough, but it was popular enough on the adult level. It wasn't popular under the kids our age level.
Okay.
And you probably know exactly where I'm going to go with this.
Okay.
MASH.
But is it obscure?
See, and that's what I want to, think about it. Is it obscure because kids our age, not a whole lot of kids watched it or knew it. I could walk through the high school and whistle that song and no one would be like, what is that? Except for the adults.
Oh yeah, but that's the thing though, because if adults know about it, it's not really obscure. It's right up there with Star Trek.
Once again, okay, so it goes back to once again. Do you see it happen at fan festivals and comedy or conventions? Do you see cosplay?
Do I see cosplay of MASH? I don't, but there are a lot of references from MASH. A ton of references that I hear.
But see, that's
almost
now.
on a daily basis from MASH.
But that's now, and that's think about who makes those references. That's not usually people our age.
No, you'll be surprised.
Yeah. Okay.
So you know what? I'm gonna pull the veto card on that one.
Okay. No, and that is perfectly fine. That's why I was sort of like, so then you know what? I will go back to my original number 4 then, Blade Warriors.
What the hell is Blade Warriors?
Picture American gladiators.
Okay.
On rollerblades.
Okay,
yeah.
I'm intrigued. Okay, tell me more. Tell me more.
Basically, it was just that. It was American gladiators, but it was on a rollerblading type style. So they had the vert ramps. Okay. So like one of the competitions was they had the little ball thing, and you would grab the ball, you would skate down the vert ramp and go up the other side, and you'd have to put it into rings. And each level of rings had a certain amount of points. Like the top one was 20 points. The middle were like 10 points, and the bottom one was 5 points.
Okay.
There was another one where they would have, it was like a race.
Okay. And
they would have to race around the track on the rollerblades, and they would have, different things where they would have to move around and obstacle around. But here's the thing. You had a Blade Warrior who was a American gladiator of that show chasing you behind you.
Okay, I'm just holding back my laughter a little bit because that's so it's X Games Gladiators. Gotcha. Okay,
it's X Games before the X Games actually
came around
big stream like that.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay,
it's what started that inline culture, but it was only on for like one season, and I remember seeing 2 or 3 episodes of it, and then I don't remember ever seeing it again. But back then, that was when I played sports in high school, so I wasn't home to watch it. It was like on Saturdays on like CBS or NBC or ABC.
So right now, you just unlocked a core memory for myself.
Okay.
And I had to. It was the first time I ever saw Terry Crews. Okay, you know Terry Crews is, right?
Terry Crews. Refresh me. I think I do, but.
The one thing that you gotta know him from is dun, I love you, I miss you.
Yes.
Okay. So there was a show that he did. It was the first time I ever saw him. There was a show that was very similar to what you're talking about, but it was more American Gladiators. It was called Battle Dome. So
Ooh,
Battle
I
Dome
don't
with this.
I don't know if I
So with
remember
this,
that.
it was a lot very similar to American Gladiators, but you didn't have gladiators. You had these. You had these. They were the gladiators, but they weren't called gladiators. I forgot what they were called, but they were like wrestling gimmicks.
Okay.
So Terry Crews came out as this character named T Money.
Ha ha ha! I see where this is going.
So T Money was this like Deion Sanders like character, and he had this gold chain, and like he would go out there and chase down and beat down these competitors like
Was he a
American
football player?
Gladiators. He was a football player before. Yeah, he
Okay.
played football. And Battle Dome.
Battle Dome. Okay, see,
Battle
there we go. There's another obscure one that we would have never thought about.
Yes, so then Battle Dome actually had a crossover with WCW. So so an episode that happened was, for some reason, Big Papa Pump, Scott Steiner, came out on Battle Dome, and he challenged Terry Crews to a match on WCW. So Terry Crews was trying to be a wrestler at this time, I think, too.
God.
So so like these characters were like, okay, so you had T Money, then you had this farmer, and then you had this heaven sent warrior. I don't know. There are these goofy, cartoonish characters,
right?
over the top characters that were doing stuff like American Gladiators.
Huh.
And it just hit me. It just hit me right now too. I was like, oh my god, that's right. I remember this show because it was so goofy. So
But and that is it. Definitely, it fits the mold very well.
and it was hosted by, oh my god, who was the host? What was his name? I forgot the host. Ed Lover. Ed Lover was the host for MTV Raps.
Yeah.
And then he went to do this. It was
Wow. Well,
Battle Dome.
not everyone not everyone went the right way, I guess.
Yeah, but it was funny because, oh my god, I remember watching this show and I was like, why is this American Gladiators with gimmicks? Like, this is so weird.
Well,
like,
I mean, was that after American Gladiators had already gone?
yeah,
dead?
this was definitely after. This is after the first run of American Gladiators.
It's them trying to remold the American Gladiators into something we would have watched.
And that's what the appeal was, that they're trying to make these goofy, again, gimmick characters that I absolutely loathe, and make them into these cartoonish characters that were doing American Gladiator stuff. It was just it was terrible.
I mean,
But I liked it.
Thinking about all of that, all the different shows on TV and stuff. What was the one thing that, I mean, back then we hated it. We hate it now but at least now we can skip them. What was the one thing that you can think about that was always just, here it comes, here's another one?
It's a great question.
And what about the commercials?
Okay.
It's the commercials back then were intriguing sometimes.
Okay, name one.
I don't have to name it. I'll just sing the song.
Go for it.
Cha 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 chia.
Yeah, the Chia Pet, absolutely.
Or how about
clap on.
Exactly.
Clap
on, clap off.
The clapper.
The clapper. Those, I mean, the tune. The bubblegum one. What was it?
Then you got me on guard with that one. The bubblegum
Something
one.
about was it Juicy Fruit? Was the brand, I think.
Juicy Fruit. I remember the Orbits.
Orbits, yeah.
Orbits. They had some good commercials. That was the one where like you had like, was it the ones that were like not cussing but they were cussing? You yellow belly liquor or something like that.
Right. Okay. I remember I was actually watching some commercial compilations and stuff.
Right.
And I saw a lot of food commercials. It made me think about it. Do you realize that Happy Meals back then were $1.99? And that was a drink, fries, and your choice of hamburger, cheeseburger, or
nuggets.
four nuggets.
Yeah.
$1.99. Think about what we pay for it now.
A grape for $1.99. One grape. No, not a grape. One grape.
Yeah.
No. I also remember the $1 burger stand.
No. I know the one you're thinking of. You're talking about the one that used to be on Montana.
Was that Montana? I'm gonna say
by Bassett.
I want to say yes.
That was the 39-cent hamburger stand.
39-cent. That's what it was. 39-cent hamburgers. The hamburger stand.
There
you are
go.
correct, sir.
And we used to see commercials for them on TV. That is exactly what I'm talking about. Yep.
Yeah. At one time there were 39-cent hamburgers,
and
it
they
was
were
like
great.
It was like a subsidiary of Wiener Schnitzel, right? Something like that. They were associated with.
Or Charbroiler or something, I think.
Something like that.
Charbroiler was another one that was in El Paso, and we'd see those commercials too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, I think it was like one of their sort of like branch offs.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, 39-cent hamburger stand. Yep, absolutely. That's crazy. 39 cents. Oh my. And they weren't bad either. They were pretty damn good.
Yeah, exactly. But see, and I remember commercials like, a lot of the games and stuff. So like and not even the video games as much, but like the board games.
Mm-hmm.
Mousetrap. Hungry Hippo.
Hungry Hippos, yeah. Yeah, I remember those commercials too, yeah.
And that's one of those where the commercials were crazy. They were annoying as ever. Now, luckily, we sort of get to skip them.
Yeah, but at least those commercials were entertaining. I thought they were entertaining.
Yeah.
I thought they were fun.
Okay.
I thought they were fun to watch. Yeah, I wasn't I'm not bothered by the commercials. I'm really not.
See, and I guess back then I probably really wasn't, because the commercials for me were like, ooh, I want to get that. Like, oh, I need to tell mom about that type thing.
Mm-hmm.
So of course, back then I really don't think so. Nowadays, I'm just impatient. I want to watch what I want to watch.
What I remember mostly though were the infomercials. That's what always infomercials were. That
was the late night infomercial thing that we used to see all the time.
Mm-hmm. It was like that's where I saw like the first iteration of the chop block, and what else I see on there?
Do you remember the psychics?
Cleo.
There we go, Mrs. Cleo.
Miss Cleo, yes, Miss Cleo. I miss Miss Cleo and her fake Jamaican accent.
I remember the what was it? Jack LaLanne power juicer.
Yes, and the George Foreman grill.
The George Foreman. Wait, didn't we use one of those to cook some burgers one time?
Yes, and they weren't that bad. They weren't bad.
They were actually pretty good. You know what though? I think it did better on chicken.
Really?
Yeah, I tried it. When you get a chicken breast and you flatten it out and get it like thin, and it was good. No,
right.
As long as you you soak it for a little while, and then do it. It was good. It actually worked out pretty well.
And according to Hulk Hogan, that was supposed to be his product.
That was supposed to be his product.
Yeah, but as in the words of the Iron Sheik, fuck the Hulk Hogan.
See, but Hulk Hogan had Postomania.
Yeah, where's it? How's it doing that? How's it doing now?
Yeah, no.
Yeah, exactly.
But then again, hold on. You want to go down that road of wrestling? How is Hulk Hogan now?
That's just cold-blooded. But yeah,
I know, too soon. But
no, not too soon. No, fuck the Hulk Hogan.
But really think about it. Think about how his before he died, was he really a big name, or was he a big name because he was so involved with the drama?
Well, he was still a big name, dude. He was still a big name. He really was. He made wrestling, unfortunately. I mean, I use the word unfortunately because you associate him with wrestling. Well, there's nothing that you could do about that. You can't cut him out from there.
Right.
It's just like Bill Cosby. Yeah, that's right. I went there.
You know what? If we want to go down there, let's stay on the commercial prop here.
The jelly pudding snacks?
No. How about Jared?
subway.
Yes, sir. Uh-huh.
God, that's gross. Just gross. Just
You
leaves
know,
a
so
bad
I
taste in
mean,
my mouth. Ugh.
did we know this at that time?
No.
No. But yeah, you know, we didn't know that at the time. I mean, I remember Bill Cosby and seeing the commercials for Generation 2000
Yeah. Yeah.
with Jello.
Yeah. We didn't know then what we know now.
Exactly.
We just didn't know.
But you know, if
We
you
didn't
think
know.
about it, think about some of these obscure shows that we've talked about.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think they would make it now?
It's an interesting question. Because if you really think about like the context of these shows, Beauty and the Beast, I think they rebooted Beauty and the Beast before. It was on the WB. They made it more. So they tried to appeal. So okay, Beauty and the Beast, I think, is one that I think was already attempted to. Sliders.
Ooh.
Well, right now we're already doing the multi-dimensional thing anyway with MCU and
But see, that's MCU.
yeah, but this is pre-MCU stuff.
So
So would it work? I think it would. I think Sliders would work.
no, I think it would. I think now Sliders would do better because they could do more with it, with all the technology and the
And they have a better budget. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
The Storyteller. Yeah.
I think that one could definitely. Now on the Storyteller, I think they may have to change. No, maybe not. They could probably keep it with the same type of storylines. Yeah, I think they could do it. But once again, it's because of the newer technology and the updated, puppetry.
But I definitely think the Storyteller would be more adult oriented.
You think so?
Yeah, I think so.
So would you say that one would be more like a what's the rating? TV 13?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, it'll still work. Because a lot of people are intrigued by gothic horror.
Gotcha. Okay.
And that's what that show was.
And
it had
that's
a lot
exact.
of
So
folklore. A lot of
it's
the
sort of
gothic
like
folklore, yeah.
what's the Fox? It was on Fox or FX. It's a current one.
A current one?
American Horror Story.
American Horror Story.
Yeah, sort of like that.
Yeah, but I
Okay.
mean, I think it'd still be interesting using the Jim Henson
puppetry.
puppets. Yeah,
Mhm.
the puppetry. But I think it would work because, like I said before, people are interested in those gothic tales still. And with you throw in there Jim Henson, plus the work or the puppetry that has gone ahead of it, because puppetry itself has gone way ahead of what it was
It's
before.
gone immense. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, yes.
so I think it would definitely work. I'd be very intrigued.
Okay. What about? You know what?
Did you ever get Personally 5? Did you finish your 5?
No, it was our top 4. It was our Mount
Sorry,
Rushmore.
top 4. Did you finish your 4?
Yeah. Yeah, we did Blade Warriors. That was my fourth one.
That's right.
The Crow, Tomorrow People, and The Tribe.
Gotcha. Okay, I was making sure. Okay, my bad.
Because with the fourth one, that's where we had that discussion.
Yeah, okay. That's where we
covered
got into this. Okay, okay. Just making sure that we were still in order. All right.
Yeah.
Okay,
So,
gotcha.
but yeah.
Yeah.
But no, I think definitely. I think nowadays with streaming, it's one of those where we have a little bit of the benefit of being able to find some of these old shows and see them, and I think it's definitely a great thing now. I do miss sort of that time back then where if you didn't see it on Friday night, you were sort of screwed for a week and you didn't know what happened. And if you missed the end of the season, oh man, that was the worst.
I hate that. No, I want my DVR. I want my DVR.
Right.
If I'll tell you this right now, and this is what I truly feel. I feel Firefly would have been for about 5 or 6 more seasons if DVR was still around. If DVR was around back then.
See, I don't know about that because it's sort of weird. Firefly got its cult following ship after they ended it. And it just did not have a pool when they first showed it. And that was the thing, is Fox just was like, this isn't drawing enough.
Well, yeah, because they put it on Friday nights. Friday nights in 2000. That's a death sentence for TV for for any show.
Exactly.
It was a death sentence.
Yeah, unfortunately, I think it was just a bad timing. I think if they had done it on like a Wednesday night, that would have been great.
Yeah, but they just put it on. They just put on a piss poor Friday night where everybody was going out at that time.
Mm-hmm.
People were living their lives.
Yeah.
And it was just like, it was.
So I've got one quick retrain back to the obscure Highlander. Would you consider that obscure?
Yeah, absolutely. I would absolutely call
now,
it. Yeah.
And now that we think about that, I might have to update my if we're actually considering that one obscure, then I update my fourth choice.
So then, for those of you that aren't aware, Highlander, the movie based on it was a series of movies that was this dude. It was
Duncan
MacLeod,
MacLeod.
right? Duncan MacLeod.
The movie was Connor MacLeod.
Connor
the
MacLeod.
TV show was Duncan MacLeod, who is
a descendant.
Right, he was a descendant. He was portrayed by Adrian Paul.
Adrian Paul. That's right. So then, who looks nothing.
Now, here's a funny thing.
He does not look. Was it? They were Scottish, right?
Yeah.
He was supposed to be Scottish. He doesn't look Scottish. That dude looks. No, that guy looks Italian to me.
Now here's a funny thing. Okay, do you remember the show Semi?
Yeah. No, okay. I remember watching the show.
Richie Ryan. Do you remember that character? He was the sidekick, the kid.
Yeah, he was like his apprentice. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, he became after he died in the first season, I think. So Richie Ryan was actually in Lost Boys.
Yeah.
It's the same. Whoa. It's the same guy.
Who was he in Lost Boys?
He was one of the Lost Boys.
The vampires?
One of the vampires.
Really?
Yes.
Which one?
The younger one with the sort of blondish hair that was like sort of like curly.
Okay.
That was him.
How did he die in Lost Boys? Was he the one that was in the tub?
I think so, yeah. Tub? I think he's the one who they shoved into the tub.
And they death by stereo.
But yeah. Mm-hmm. And so
wow, okay. All right.
Yeah, but definitely if we're considering Highlander obscure, that would definitely be that would probably go to the top of my list. That would be number one.
Stan Kirsch? Is that the name of the actor?
That's him.
How do I remember that? That is so random. Oh my God.
Yeah. And it's funny, he sort of dies in Highlander too.
Did he pass away in real life, or is he still around?
I'm not sure. I haven't seen him in anything like that would really draw me to remember.
Why do I know that? Stan Kirsch. That's so random. You see, this is why my brain works. Random, so random.
But yeah, but definitely it's one of those where that was definitely one of those shows that hit the heart. It was just a good show. I liked it. I really did. That was
so he did pass away, and he did pass away January 11th of 2020.
Wow. Okay.
Stan Kirsch. Huh. Yeah, Stan Kirsch, Highlander actor, passed away at 51.
Wow.
Huh. That's so wild. I don't know, man.
That's all right, man. You know what? Sometimes our brains do that.
Yeah. Well, apparently last time you told me we were on everything now.
Is correct. So
I found this on Spotify. We're even on Spotify now.
By the way, we are also on Apple Podcast. I found it today. It actually is up and running.
But yeah, you can find us at cutscenes.clotheslines on Instagram, right? Or is it just cutscenes and clotheslines?
Cutscenes and clotheslines is at Instagram.
You could follow me or Mike on Instagram, on the Facebook, on the Tickety Talk, on whatever platform you could find us on.
Right, but if you're looking for cutscenes and clothesline content, we are available on Spotify. You can find us on YouTube now as well. That's cutscenes and clotheslines on YouTube.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, definitely drop on by. Let us know what you think. And you know what? We've got a question for anybody who watches the video for next week's episode.
Yeah, just drop us a line. Like I said before, we are, again, on Instagram, on the Facebook, on the Tickety Talk.
So Fernie, what are we talking about next week?
What are we talking about next week? Well, next week we will be talking about toys and
Toys and board games. Now,
yes.
are we talking about Ouija board here? Is that considered a board game?
Well, it's on a board.
It is a game.
It's
I
a
mean,
game.
I believe it was, what was the age range on it? I believe it was 8 years old. So your 8-year-old can summon demons. Hey.
There you go. Hey, if you're gonna start summoning demons, you gotta start them early.
All right. So for everyone out there, drop us a line. Let us know what your favorite board game was. And we will see everybody next week.
And also, if there's anything we've missed of the obscure shows, just let us know as well.
But yeah, please drop us that feedback. We would definitely love to hear from you. You can also,
Absolutely.
if you want to, give us any feedback on the private side, you can also email us at cutscenesandclotheslines@gmail.com.
All right, homie.
All righty, sir. Well, you have a good night, and I hope everyone out there has a great night as well.
Sleep tight. Don't let the Highlander cut your head off.
And remember, this is Cutscenes and Clotheslines, where nostalgia hits harder than a chair shot to the head.
Which explains a lot.
All right, everybody, you please have a good night.
Good night.